Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of our 5-day riding boot camp. Go ahead and open up the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from and if you've had any wins so far this week. Let's see, Cindy, hello from Florida. I just got off my horse, got to meet those goals. I love it. Good for you, Cindy. Wendy from St. Louis will hit 40. That is awesome. Marcy's from Indiana. Fantastic. We're going to be getting started here in 2 minutes with day 5, and today's topic is throughness and topline, which I'm super excited about. Let's see, my win. I feel like this is such a great way to kick off the new year because it's definitely a hard and discouraging time for us riders. We've been getting so much rain here in California, and so yesterday after boot camp, I went to the barn and it was like raining, and I was like, I'm gonna ride. So I got soaking wet and I rode Mick around on the trail, and it was actually really fun because there was kind of this stream of water, and I trotted him through it, and I think we both had a lot of fun. So, sometimes this time of year, you just have to make do with what you can and adjust and enjoy and do the best you can because spring is coming. That's actually why I picked this shirt today with oranges on it because I thought it was like, it's the dark of winter, but spring is going to be here before we know it, and we're going to be able to really get going with our goals. So, if you're just tuning in, welcome. Go ahead, open up the chat and introduce yourself. Colleen says boot camp has really inspired me to get fit. Yes, I love it. That's another great thing that we can do on these wintry days when you can't ride is work on your fitness and visualize your riding. And hopefully you got a chance to watch the independent seat demo that my husband and I did here in the office. I'm curious how many of you are going to be posting photos of your saddle on top of an exercise ball, like bouncing up and down, because it kind of worked. Like it was actually really cool. So maybe out of desperation, we'll see some of you doing that. All right, I see some thumbs up and some laughing emojis. Alrighty, so it's 8 o'clock. Welcome to day 5 of our 5-day riding boot camp. Today's topic is throughness and topline, which I'm super excited about. Some of you might not even know, like, what is throughness? What is topline? So we're going to dive into that today. Before we get started, I wanted to give a many thank yous. First of all, thank you to all of you. Let me know who here has shown up to every single one of these live sessions so far. It's just amazing your commitment and your passion and your vulnerability and your community, how much you're helping each other, especially over New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I think it's just a testament to how much we love our horses and how important this is to all of us. I also want to give a big shout out to my team. You know who you are, but thank you to all of you for being here over the holidays, to helping everyone, to making sure that everyone has their emails and their questions answered. And it takes a village, and there's no way that I could do this alone. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I also wanted to welcome our new Strides members. We had a lot of new members sign up. So if you signed up for Strides, welcome. And also for those of you who have been in Strides for months or years, I'm super excited to continue to help you in the year ahead. And I always am working on finding new ways to improve my teaching and my training. And so I want to thank all of you who are Strides members. What else is on my list? Oh, yeah. So today at the end of the call, Lexi from my team is going to be highlighting a few of our Strides members, some Strides member features. So make sure to stick around for that. And then at the end, after this call, if you're in Strides or VIP, I'm going to be doing my riding recipe. Oh, I lost my workbook, but we're going to be doing a riding recipe. Here it is. We're going to be doing a riding recipe session where we basically go through and look at some examples. I have a intro level, a training first level, a second level, and then I'm going to do a riding recipe for Mick. So this is where we're really going to be putting together a plan for your session. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to have like a quick break, and then we're going to dive right into that. I think I've got all of my announcements. So let's dive in because, as you know, I have a lot to cover today. I've tried to pack like a ton of value into this boot camp. So let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how much you've gotten out of this boot camp. 10 being like it was worth every moment of it. Okay, I see lots of tens. I was up late last night because I'm always like tweaking things and making it better. Um, and I think I've put thousands of hours into putting together this boot camp. So please make sure to watch the replays to take advantage of these trainings because they are really, really valuable and super helpful for kickstarting your new year and helping you to make your goals and then come up with that plan to stay accountable towards them. So let me know in the chat. Who here is going to be vulnerable and say that they're not totally sure even what is Throughness or what is Topline, because my mission today is to help you to understand a little bit more about that. Okay, I see some people are like, I have no idea what it is. Okay. So here's a funny story for you. I was riding with Johannemann. Johannemann's a German master trainer, and I was getting ready to do a Grand Prix test with my horse Harvey. And so we were working on the one tempi changes, and he like stops, and in his German voice, he's like, he's not through enough. Your horse just is not through enough. And I was like, really? Like, I have been training this horse for 6 years and we're getting ready for the Grand Prix and he's still not through enough. And I tell you that story because that's like dressage means training, right? It's this endless pursuit of learning and getting better and developing the partnership with your horse. And throughness is something that's really important. It's something that is fundamental to helping you reach your goals and achieve that with your horse. But it's also something that we're always kind of like striving for and we're always working towards. So, like I said, I have a ton to cover. Let me go ahead and open up my slides and we'll get started with today's presentation on throughness. Notice, let me know in the chat who here is a Western rider or if you ride maybe in a jump saddle. Hang on 1 second. Um, there were some questions at the end yesterday of like, can I do strides if I'm in a Western saddle or a jump saddle? And yes, absolutely. Good riding is good riding. And so I was like, I should just go through my slides and spam them with more photos of me in a Western saddle. So there we go. I think Mercurio looks very handsome in his Western saddle. I start all my babies in a Western saddle, and I really believe that good riding is good riding. Dressage is the foundation of all the disciplines, and it doesn't matter to me what type of saddle you ride in, what type of horse you have. The only thing that's important is that you want to learn and you want to become a better partner for your horse. At the end of the call today, we're going to be giving away some more calendars and workshops, so make sure to stick around till the end. And Lexi is not going to let me forget to give those away. And if we can all type in the chat, open up the chat and type in there, I am a rider. I want to thank you once again for your commitment to being here in boot camp and also your commitment to your horse and to consistency and the community. Wow, I got a little emotional last night reading through the posts and just seeing everyone's goals and everyone helping one another and encouraging one another. It is so special what we have here. So by the end of boot camp, you will have a goal and a step-by-step plan to achieve your goal in 2026. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, okay, I'm getting there. I have my goal. I'm working on my plan. And then your homework for today is going to be hashtag I love my horse. So after today's call, please post in the Facebook group and share what is unique, what is special about your horse. Remember that each day of this boot camp builds on the next. So we did goal setting on day one. Then we talked about rhythm and balance, then the independent seat, then connection. And today is throughness and top line. Why did I put throughness and top line on the last day? Because I think it's like what we're always striving towards. It's something that takes that consistency and that commitment and that really is what develops throughness and top line. I wanted to quickly answer some questions about strides. before we get started here. So let me know in the chat if you're in strides. I'd love to know your horse's age and breed. There were a lot of questions like, if I'm a beginner rider, can I do strides? Yes. If you are a Western rider, can you do strides? Yes. If you ride in a hackamore, yes. If you're a jumper rider, basically, if you just love your horse and if you love this boot camp, right? If you feel like you're inspired and you're excited about your goals, then we would love to have you in strides. That's the most important thing. I wanted to welcome our new members. Let me know in the chat if you are new to strides. And quick reminder of if you sign up for the annual plan, you will get 2 months free. We'll also send you one of my 10 exercise book and the strides calendar. You'll get the roundtable series and the podcast pack. So I'll have my team put the link in the chat, amelianewcomb-dressage.com/strides if you're interested in signing up. And make sure that you sign up before the end of the call today to get the podcast pack. So if you sign up for annual before the end of the call today, we will add to your membership 14 ride along podcasts of a lot of different topics in there. So there's one on confidence, there's one for transitions, there's one on if you have a hot horse or a lazy horse, there's relaxation, there's a second level podcast on lateral work, there's soft, steady hands. I know all of you in strides, you love these ride along podcasts. If you are in strides, you have lifetime access to these ride along podcasts. So if you've missed one of them, you can go back and listen to it over and over again. And they're kind of like lessons. So I know that a lot of you have really enjoyed listening to those ride along podcasts this year. Also, if you sign up for annual strides, you will get access to our 8 guest speaker strides roundtable, which includes a full-length interview from Ingrid Klimke. We also have Sabine Shute-Carey and a bunch of other ones in there. And one thing that we do in strides is we bring in different guest speakers. So we have a great lineup coming in Q1 for strides. And then I'm going to continue to just bring in a bunch of great guest speakers because I learned so much. And I think you all learn a lot from those guest speakers as well. So Amelia, why should I join Strides? I mean, you give away so much for free. We just had this epic boot camp. Really, should I join Strides? So I want you to think about it. I make a new YouTube video every single week. I send you emails. But the advantage of Strides is that it's more organized and it's more sequential. So the free content is kind of like a library without a Dewey Decibel system. So a Dewey Decibel system was what organizes that library. The Strides program organizes everything. So it's organized exercises, structured lecture plans, a calendar, the ride along podcast, the video review, the guest speakers. So it's much more sequential and it's much more organized than all the free content, which of course I'm going to continue to do because I want to help all of you with your horses. And here's a nice review from Janet. She says, Amelia gives away so much free content, you might think there can't possibly be more in Strides. That's what I thought too. I consumed her free content for 2 years, but I'm here to tell you there's so much more. Working with my trainer in person and Amelia virtually has fast-tracked my results. So thank you for that, Janet. And that really is my goal with this online training is helping you to save you time, to fast track your results so that you can make more progress this year than you did last year. For all of those of you logical thinkers here, I want you to think about what do you spend on your horse in a year? I did a little math here and it's a little bit scary. I know these prices are high, but I live in California. Board is super high here. So I added up for Kensington, board, shoeing, vet, insurance, lessons, shows, like $35,000 a year. But, I mean, horses are our life. And my mother always used to say, well, it's cheaper than like rehab or being hospitalized. So it's kind of worth it, right? The mental health benefits of having a horse is worth it. Strides annual is $2.66 per day. So kind of less than a cup of coffee. So there's a link if you want to sign up for Strides. It's amelianewcomb-dressage.com/strides. There were also some questions about video review in Strides. So who has sent in their video in Strides last year? I know we have a bunch of Strides students here. I have, I did. We reviewed 1,129 videos in Strides last year, which is pretty epic. I'm hoping that we do even more in 2026. So that means that you all need to send in more videos this year. And yes, we do review every single video. You can either select a time to come and meet with either myself or one of my coaches, or you can just say, hey, give me feedback. I can't come live. And we make sure to email you with your recording. In Strides, you can send up to one. Um,
Hi, everyone. I think Amelia might be reconnecting her internet connection. So I'll just jump in and answer a couple questions we've seen come through the chat and talk a little bit more about video review sessions in Strides, which is one of our favorite parts. So,
oh, I'm
as
back.
Amelia,
Can you
oh,
hear
she's
me?
back. Yes,
That was so weird. I don't know what happened.
the rain. It's raining out your rides and your webinars, I guess,
Oh
Amelia.
my goodness. Well, thank goodness you all are here. Thank you, Lexi. I was just saying, so yes, we do review every single video, and you can submit one video per month. So that's a total of 12 videos for the year. The video reviews are super helpful because they allow us to give you that personalized feedback, and every horse and every rider are a little bit different. So for those of you who are like, I need lessons. Yes, you do. We all need lessons. And the video reviews are a great way to get that type of personalized feedback. The video review calls, we have a lot of different times. Some of them are in the morning, some are in the evening, some are on the weekends. So, for those of you who work or are in different time zones, we do think that there's a way for you to come live. And then, like I mentioned, if you can't come live, you can always just say, hey, just send me feedback. I can't be there live, and that's totally fine too. Um, so quick reminder of everything that you get in Strides. We have every single month the video review exercises, the training blueprint, the video review sessions, the Strides Accelerator, and the Strides community. You can either sign up for the entire year for $970, or you can sign up and pay monthly at $97 per month. If you want the bonuses, please make sure to sign up for annual. And if you have any questions, schedule a call with my team and we can help to answer your questions. Don't forget to come to the VIP Stride session that's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific time today on riding recipes. So this is going to be a really fun working session where I'm going to go through my riding recipe workbook and we're going to help you to put together a plan for your ride. I'm going to go through some different examples with some different levels of riders and help to kind of pick out which exercises and which routine would be best for those riders. So if you want to join Strides now, you can definitely hop on to that riding recipe call that's going to be later this morning. Okay, so today's agenda. First thing is, what is Throughness? What is Topline? The secret formula to building Throughness and Topline. Setbacks and failures, wrap up Q&A, and then Lexi's going to be doing a Strides member feature. What is Throughness? I know a lot of you are like, I don't know what Throughness is. So here we go. Throughness is an attitude of willingness where the horse responds to the rider's aids. It is accompanied by a physical state where the horse is balanced so they can do what they are asked. Who here is like, yes, I would like that. I would like an attitude of willingness. I would like responsiveness in my horse. I think we all would agree. Yes, we would like that. You can think of throughness as a circuit of energy. And I have that little light bulb there because there's different levels of throughness. So when you first start out, your light bulb is kind of dim, like it's not super bright. But then the more you work at it and the more you develop that partnership with your horse, the brighter the light bulb shines. So, Amelia, what is the difference between connection and throughness? Because they kind of seem a little bit similar, right? Like you're like, I don't know, they're kind of similar, those two things. So, connection, remember, creates a flow of energy so that you can ride with harmony and balance. So, connection really is that energy between you and your horse. And you can see, I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs here, right? Like they're still pretty similar. You might be a little bit like, well, I don't know, those two definitions seem pretty similar. And you're right, they definitely are. But think of it like this. So, connection leads to throughness. If we look at the training scale here, connection is the third level of the training scale. Where is throughness on the training scale? So, throughness is here on the side. Physical development through progressive conditioning. And on the other side, we have increasing throughness and obedience. So, the directives on the side of the training scale, those are the results of following the training scale. So, as you get more connection, and remember that connection is that flow of energy between you and your horse, you develop throughness. Think of connection as the feeling. Like connection is the feeling where you and your horse feel connected and soft and you have that nice elastic feel in your hands. Throughness is, can you keep that feeling during a transition? So let me repeat that again. So connection is the feeling like, oh my gosh, my horse feels soft. I'm sitting in the saddle. My seat feels connected. Throughness is okay. Can you keep that nice feeling and ride a canter transition or ride a transition to halt? And I think you're all like nodding your head. Okay, yes, Amelia, that is where it gets hard. So let me know if this is making sense and if you're understanding a little bit more about what is connection, what is throughness, what's the difference. And it's totally okay if you're like, I don't know. This is still over my head. I don't think I've ever felt connection or throughness. We're going to break it down a little bit more. So, is your horse through? How can you tell if your horse is through? Well, you're going to ride a transition. So, you're walking, you're going to close your calf, you're going to ask your horse to trot. And what happens when you ask your horse to trot? Let me know in the chat. A, your horse throws their head up. B, your horse doesn't respond at all. C, your horse curls behind. D, your horse gets crooked. E, all of the above. Okay, I see a lot of answers there in the chat. Or F, none of the above. So if your horse, if you're walking, you close your calf, your horse immediately goes up to the trot, stays perfectly straight, stays nice and soft in your hand, then that's a sign that you have throughness. If you ask for trot and your horse puts their head up, gets crooked, doesn't listen, you don't have throughness. Okay? This cartoon might help you a little bit. So, when your horse is through, they should be listening to your leg and listening to the rein at the same time. And this is where it gets hard because I know so many of you and so many horses are like, okay, either I'll go forward or I'll be soft and round, but I'm not doing both. And that's a perfect example of where you don't really have throughness. So you need to be able to put your leg on and have your horse stay soft and round and go forward into the trot. And yes, this is very hard to do. So, what are the aids for throughness? Basically, your leg, you always start with your leg. Your leg creates the energy. Your seat, your independent seat, is the translator. And then your hands are the restraining aid. So this is the circuit, leg, seat, hand, leg, seat, hand, leg, seat, hand. That's the circuit that gets the light bulb to shine. That is the circuit of throughness. All right, so we've talked about throughness. Next, we're moving on to top line. So, top line is the group of muscles that run from the tail all the way up to the pole. So, it's just like it sounds like. It's just the group of muscles on the top line of your horse's body. And one way to assess top line, one thing that you can do this week is to take a confirmation photo of your horse. So take a confirmation photo from the side like this. Make sure that there's not anything in the background. So you want to kind of be out in the open. And then what you can do is every 6 to 12 months, you can take another photo and compare your horse's top line. So this is my horse Mick. You may have enjoyed watching the Mick series on YouTube. This is him in March when I first got him versus in August. I wish I had a more recent one because I think he's looking even better now. But what you'll notice is that compared to in March, in August here, he's got more muscle on the top of his neck. You can see that his back is quite a bit more filled out, right? It's less angular. He's got a lot more muscling through his hindquarters. His bum is a lot rounder. You can see he's got some more abs going on. So you can definitely see a difference in his top line. And one little word of warning here is it this seeing any difference in muscling. Like if you go to the gym and you want to start building muscle, it's going to take at least 3 months of very consistent training in order to build muscle, like in order to build top line. It really takes that commitment to consistency, that commitment to doing something every single day in order to build that top line. So next month in Strides February, we're doing an entire month on throughness and top line, which I'm super excited about. And what one of the activities that we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking photos and then kind of looking and assessing your horse's top line. And I look at 3 areas. So you want to look at your horse's hindquarters, your horse's back. That's an important area because that's, where you're sitting on the saddle and then at your horse's neck and a little bit assess where is your horse weak. So let me know in the chat if you already kind of have an answer. Do you think that your horse is weak in the hindquarters? Do you think your horse is a little weak in the back? Or do you think that your horse is weak in the neck? Okay, I see Vanessa says back, hind end. So your training plan is going to be a little bit different based on which area you need to focus on. So for example, this horse on the bottom right, that's Future. He's 6 this year. You can see his neck muscling is not good. Like he really has too much muscle on his underneck. He has that little dip in front of his withers. So with him, I do a lot of stretching work because I need to stretch that area right in front of the withers and I need to develop the muscle on the top of his neck. So it's really fun and interesting to take your horse and figure out, okay, this is where my horse is weak. How could I help my horse? How could I help my horse to get a little stronger? And I'd love for you to all type in the chat the breed and age of your horse because here's the thing all horses are different. And this is what I love about what we do. And this is what I love about training is every horse is unique. And so you have to kind of figure out what works best for you and your horse. Don't compare your horse's top line to another horse's because just like humans, some of us are tall, some of us are round, some of us are really slender, some of us are short. We all have a different body type, just like every horse has a little bit of a different body type. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just about, okay, this is my horse. I love my horse. I'm doing the best that I can do with my horse. And how can I help my horse get a little bit stronger where they're weak? And that's the beauty of training and the partnership and the harmony that we have with our horses. So remember that part of why throughness and top line is so important is because it's building this bridge. It's building a solid bridge for you to sit on when you're riding your horse. And the stronger that your horse is in their back and in their top line, the more comfortable it is for them to carry your weight. And also the more comfortable it is for you. So I had this super difficult horse named Trumpet. He was part thoroughbred. And part of the difficulty with Trumpet is that when he was young, he had no muscling on his back. Like he was so bony. His spine was just sticking out and like all his ribs were there. And so when I would sit on him, I was basically just sitting on his bones. Like there was no muscle there. There was no muscle to help carry my weight. And so then he would get really, really sore in his back and then uncomfortable. And then because he was sore, he would get kind of naughty. So what I did with Trumpet was I did a lot of groundwork. I stayed consistent. Eventually, he started to build that muscle on his top line. Okay, so let's look at the good news. Throughness and top line is kind of like the chicken and the egg. It's like which comes first. So the good news is that as you ride your horse with connection and throughness, their top line starts to develop. So it does get easier and easier. You know, as your horse builds muscle, it's easier for them to use their top line and it's easier for them to stay through and be ridden with connection. The bad news is that if your horse doesn't have a top line, it's hard to get connection and it's hard to get throughness. You know, it's kind of like getting a ball rolling. Like if you don't have any momentum yet, if you don't have that muscling on their top line, it's hard for your horse. But don't worry, I'm going to give you some exercises that you can easily do to start building top line and building throughness. Here's the other thing that I want you to think about is that, you know, we've all made this commitment like, I'm going to ride 4 to 6 times per week or whatever. Let me know in the chat, what was your commitment? How many times per week are you riding? And how many rides are you going to have in 2026? Because I think all did that math. So I see like 3 to 5 is kind of average, right? But here's the thing, it's not just about riding your horse. It's about perfect practice, right? It's not just practice. It's not just the 10,000 hours for those of you who read Malcolm Gladwell's book. It's not just 10,000 hours. It's perfect practice. It's really thinking about that every ride counts, that the majority of your time in the saddle, we want our horses to be round. We want our horses to be through because if not, if the majority of the ride your horse is hollow or not using their top line, then you're building the wrong muscles. And that's the hard part. You know, I definitely have felt that like if most of my ride, my horse and I are bracing against each other, then we're not going in the right direction. We're not building the right muscles. Okay, so we've talked about throughness, we've talked about top line. I want to show you all an example because I know that you love the examples and I think that they're really helpful. So this is Lindsay and her 5-year-old off the track thoroughbred. And she did the canter challenge in May. Let me know here in the chat who did the canter challenge. At the beginning of the canter challenge, he was tense, he was crow hopping. He was really like struggling to canter. Like she was a little bit kind of worried about cantering him. So I have pulled out her videos and let me pull them up here so that we can take a peek at Lindsay and her off the track thoroughbred. Who here has a lovely off the track thoroughbred? They're really great horses. I love the thoroughbreds because they have such nice energy and forwardness and often really, really good gaits. Okay, so this is Lindsay at the beginning of the challenge. And you can see like, okay, she has moments where he's nice, right? But then she loses the connection. She loses the throughness. And then what happened in that canter transition? Think about that light bulb circuit, right? It's kind of like sometimes the light bulb is on, but then sometimes the circuit's broken And then when she asks for the canter, it sparks, right? That's kind of why he like kicks up or he bucks when she asks for the canter, is because he wasn't through. That attitude of willingness, it just wasn't there. Not that he's a bad horse, right? He's a good horse, but he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He hasn't developed the suppleness. He hasn't developed the throughness yet. And because of that, it's not so easy to ride, right? Like we all know that being on a horse that isn't through, that isn't supple, it's not such a nice feeling. So are you ready for her after video for the transformation? Because I think this is so cool. And it also goes to show you how um, willingness in your horse is something that can be developed. And I think that's really important to remember is correct training, consistency. Look at how soft he is. Look at how she can give her inside rein. Look at that canter transition. That light bulb is shining, right? And it's more consistent. In the before video, the light bulb was kind of flickering and sparking and the circuit just wasn't there. But look at this. Like that's beautiful, right? The connection, the harmony, the suppleness, the transitions are so much better. And yeah, I mean, is it perfect? No. Like I told you at the beginning, Harvey and I were doing the Grand Prix, and Yo tells me he's not through enough. It's something that we're always working on, but this idea of throughness, it's huge. It's everything. So, let me know in the chat if was that helpful? Do you have like a better picture now in your mind of yes, I want throughness. Okay, I see a lot of yeses. Awesome, impressive, excellent. But I do want to point out like that's why today's hashtag is hashtag I love my horse because isn't about like going and getting a better horse. This is about you and your horse and figuring out how you can be the best rider for your horse, how you can help your horse to develop willingness, to develop throughness, because I truly believe that horses want to do right by us. Like horses are better than people, right? They're not deceitful, they're not devious, they don't lie. If you can explain to your horse what you want in a way that they can understand, and then physically, if your horse is capable of doing it, they will do it for you. And the hard part though is that we can't use words. Like you can't tell your horse like, "Hey, I'm going to ask you for the canter. Can you please just go into the canter nicely and not kick up?" So we have to find other ways to communicate with our horses. And that's the hard part for sure. So, all right. So, how did Lindsay get such an incredible transformation with her horse? Because we're like, yes, I would like to have that. I definitely would rather the horse look super soft and nice in the after video. So remember my training principle of consistency. This is so important. Lindsay worked with her horse every single day, consistently working with him, sticking to the system, following the plan. Progress arrived softly, carried on the rhythm of consistency. That's kind of our theme word there in strides. In your strides calendar, you'll see at the bottom there, it says consistency leads to progress, which is so true. And it's not about being perfect. It's just about getting out there, putting one foot in front of the other. Lindsay followed a step-by-step system, kind of like I've taught you so far in this boot camp, right? We started with rhythm, then we talked about the independent seat, then we talked about connection. Now we're talking about throughness. Lindsay got help to find the best exercises for her horse. So here's the thing is using her as an example. In the before video, when she asked her horse to canter, what happened? He kind of kicked out, he got tense, he threw his head up, and she lost, like, it wasn't good. The canter transition was what we saw as like, oh, that's kind of a problem, right? But what's important in training is that you figure out what is the root cause. So, what was causing, maybe some of you can type in the chat, what do you think was causing the problem in her canter transition? because it's always about before what happens happens. It's about what was going on before she asked for canter. And if you can figure out the root cause of your problems, that is key to training. And that is also where you're like, well, I don't know. Like I've never trained a horse Amelia before. Like I don't know what the problem was. And that's where education comes in. So if you're like, I need help, I don't know the root cause of the problem with my horse, please get help, whether it's from me in strides or whether it's from an in-person trainer. Find someone that has more experience than you, find someone who's done what you want to do and get help from them. Okay, I have some good answers here in the chat. So I like suppleness. I would agree that the horse wasn't supple enough. He wasn't relaxed, maybe not bending well enough. And so when she asked for the canter, she kind of got that spark, like, ah, right? I would say throughness, like suppleness comes before throughness, but the horse wasn't through. He didn't have that attitude of willingness, but suppleness would be the cause of that. Like the reason he wasn't willing for the canter transition was because he was a little bit tense in his body and he wasn't supple enough. So here is the way that we helped her to improve her throughness. Groundwork. If your horse is like tense, or if you're struggling with your transitions or throughness, start on the ground. Rider position. We got her to sit a little bit more back, sit a little bit more connected. I don't know if any of you noticed, but she was a little bit crooked in her position, and we worked on that. Suppleness, stretching, getting the horse bending, working on more simple transitions. So the trot canter transition is a more difficult transition, going back to walk trot transition. So everything in training is about breaking it down. Everything in training is about, can you find a smaller step, a better way to explain it to your horse? And if Lindsay had just practiced canter transition after canter transition and drilled it into that horse, you can imagine the result she would have gotten. He would have become more and more tense and anxious about the canter. So it's all of training is about the foundation. It's about the basics. And the better your foundation and the better your basics, like Cindy's saying, shaping plans, yes. Um, the more that you're going to be able to set your horse up for success, which is hugely important because I want you to be successful. I also want your horse to be successful. And those baby steps are what build confidence, both for you and for your horse. All right. So, who here is a groundwork fan? Let me know in the chat if you are doing groundwork with your horse regularly. There's a ton that you can do with your horse to work on throughness from the ground. And if you think about groundwork is hugely beneficial because you're not sitting on your horse's spine. So, some things that we all can do are hand walking our horses, bending your horse, doing the inside rein to inside hind, pull release, rein back. The photo on the right there, there's an awesome video in Strides January content of me showing you some ground pull exercises and some fun, like gymnasticize your horse from the ground. So get creative and don't let winter weather stop you from starting now. This is a picture here of Christy and her young horse Quinn. Look at her out there in the snow, all bundled up, doing her groundwork. I mean, let's face it, horse people are a little crazy. We're super tough. And we know how important consistency is. So, even if you're like, gosh, Amelia, I'm all inspired and I can't even ride right now, I bet you could get out there. I bet you could hand walk your horse. I bet you could work on getting your horse to put their head down because getting your horse to put their head down helps them to lift up their back and use their top line a little better. And here's the thing is this boot camp has been awesome and we're super excited and super inspired, but I want you to take a moment and think about obstacles. So if you can type in the chat, what is an obstacle that you faced last year, in your goals or in your riding or in your personal life? What is an obstacle that you might face in this year, in the year ahead? we don't always know what obstacles are coming our way. Last year was tough for me. So, day 5 of boot camp, the last day of boot camp, we had to put my dog down, Levi, and then I had to retire my Grand Prix horse, and then I hurt my back and I had to have back surgery, and that was in the middle of the cancer challenge. Like, life is hard, right? We all have these struggles, we all have these issues. And 100%, you're gonna encounter setbacks. You're gonna have obstacles that come up in the year ahead. And it's part of the process. It's part of having passion. It's part of having horses. So I want you to repeat after me. I wish I could hear all of you. I, Amelia, agree to accept setbacks along the way. This is data. I will learn from it. I will pivot and I will keep going. That's really the key there is like, just keep going, you guys. I mean, life is definitely hard. I see. Thank you all for sharing there. Ellie says, I agree to accept setbacks. Remember on the first day of boot camp when we were doing our goal setting and we talked about how important it is that you have your why. Like, type in the chat, what is your why? Why do you have horses? Why do you have these goals? Why do we get out there in the freezing cold and the snow and the rain? And it's because of that partnership. It's because of that connection. It's because of that harmony. And so when you run into an obstacle this year, and you might have to change your how, your plan might have to change, your goal might have to change, remember that that's okay and that's part of it because you still have your why. So you might have to, find a new horse or maybe you can't ride for a while or whatever, but you're not going to lose track of your why. Promise me that. Promise me that you think of me when you're like ready to cry and life is so hard and so tough and you're like, okay, at the end of the day, I love my horses and I'm just going to keep going. Here's one of our students, Lisa. She finally got her dream horse. Then she got diagnosed with MS. She's got 6 grandkids. She's 61 years old. She doesn't have a trainer. And her why is obvious, right? Her how is stride. She says, strides is a new lifeline to keep me going in the right direction. And that's where I want to thank all of you, whether you're in strides or just part of the public Amelia's Dressage Club. The community is so important and help each other. Ask for help when you're having a hard time and be gracious in encouraging other people because we all have really high and really good times, and we all have times that are really, really hard in our life and times that we need that help and we need that support and we need that encouragement. You never really know what's going on in someone else's life. Training horses is not linear in any stretch. It takes a long, long time. It's a slow process. This is a picture of Geronimo. And remember how I told you the story of he started rearing and I thought I was a terrible rider and I ended up at the Cowboy and I was told that Geronimo is a bad horse. And it took me 10, 12 years, but I got him to the Grand Prix. All right, I didn't get him to Grand Prix. I got him to the Prix St. George. He did almost all of the Grand Prix. I won my blue ribbons on him. It just took me 10 years, and I thought I was going to get that in 2 years. So just hang in there, and it's okay. It's okay if you still have the same goal that you had 3 years ago. Just keep going, keep working at it. So I'd love to hear if any of you have suggestions, if you could share them in the chat. When you encounter an obstacle or when you have a setback, what is your solution? What do you do to help overcome that? To be resilient, to be able to bounce back and keep going. And here's some things that I do. I think it's important to feel your sadness, feel your frustration and pain. When I go to a horse show and I have a bad horse show and I'm driving home and I'm like, why did I even go to the horse show? I didn't get the result that I wanted. Oh, this is frustrating. This is sad. This is disappointing. Give yourself permission to feel that sadness for a bit. So I'm like, okay, I can feel disappointed on the trailer ride home. But you know what? The next day, I'm going to get out. I'm going to love my horse. I'm going to try to learn something from my tough experience. I'm going to get more education and I'm going to move on. Focus on a solution, ask for help, surround yourself with positive people. Do groundwork, try again, watch a video, pivot your goal, remember your why. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. There's a lot of great responses there in the chat. I go for a long field walk. I talk to my friends. I take extra lessons. I give myself grace. Um, I try a Western saddle. I love that. And remember, if we can all type in the chat, I am a rider. I'm committed to my horse. I'm committed to consistency. I'm committed to our community. I'm a little bit sad that it's the last day of boot camp. Um, but I hope that you stay true to this commitment for the entire year. Do it for your horse, do it for yourself. I definitely got a little bit emotional reading through all of your posts in the Facebook group. And I want to thank you all for your kindness, for your vulnerability, for your commitment, for showing up on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It's really special. It's special what we have. It's special that we can encourage and help each other. And at the end of the day, I mean, how lucky are we that we have horses, that we get to ride horses? There's so much to be grateful for. And I don't want you to ever give up on your dreams. So we talked about those dreams on the first day with our goal setting. What could you do if you couldn't fail? Keep dreaming. Keep having that dream. Think about it when you go to bed at night, because that's what makes life so exciting and so special. 2026 is the year of the horse. And I hope you all agree that this has been an amazing way to kick off the new year with intense passion, dynamic energy, rapid changes, innovation, breakthroughs, all of these things. So, are you up for one last little challenge? Let me know in the chat if you're like, yes, I'm up for one last little challenge. All right, so here it is. Like I told you, I spent like all of Christmas listening to podcasts, reading books about goal setting. So, has anyone ever heard of a guaranteed growth goal? I'm going to give you a little example. So, that is Nicole from my team. And Nicole, she's always ridden, right? So she's been fit from riding, but she's never been much of like a gym rat or much of one to go work out. And so Nicole went and visited her little nephew, and he challenged her to sign up for a marathon. So Nicole signed up for a marathon, and now she has this guaranteed growth goal. Plus, she has a little buddy, and she doesn't want to disappoint her nephew. And so now, whenever Nicole comes, she's like, when are we going to the gym? I have to get my running. She's out here in 4 degrees Celsius running because she has this goal, because it's something that she committed to. And now she's got to take these baby steps. Could she run a marathon today? Probably not. But she's got a commitment and she's committed to taking those baby steps towards her goal. So here's your challenge. What is your guaranteed growth goal for your riding this year? It's okay if you don't know yet. Maybe you can brainstorm a little, but let me know in the chat. Here's some suggestions. If you're not in Strides, signing up for Strides, that's a big commitment, right? You're like, I'm in, Amelia. I'm doing this. I'm not going to give up. Sign up for a virtual ride a test this spring. If you're already in Strides, we have virtual ride a tests starting in the spring. I forget the date, but those are available for Strides members. They're a great guaranteed growth goal. The Canter Challenge is coming in May. Who is going to commit to sending in videos for the Canter Challenge? If you're in Strides, you get automatically enrolled in the challenges. Okay, I see a lot of you. What about coming to one of the live yoga classes that we do every single month in Strides? Gina is a rider. She's a Stride student, and she puts together these epic yoga classes. There's actually some that are recorded for you to watch too. So if you want to do one today, that's a great thing you can do today. Are you going to come to one of my live theory lectures? Are you going to find a circle? Okay, I see lots of them. And these are just some suggestions. So Strides is definitely a great option. But if Strides isn't for you, you could also sign up and go to a horse show, sign up for lessons, find a horse to ride this year, lease a horse, buy a horse. all these little things in life are choices, right? And signing up for something or making a big life change is always hard. It's always scary. It's scary to make that commitment. It's scary to send in your entry to the show. And um, so here's my guaranteed growth goal. I haven't shared this yet, and my team is probably going to kill me, but I really, I love being a teacher. I love helping all of you. I love being a leader. I love inspiring all of you, but I still want to be a student. I still want to learn. And I feel like I haven't been getting enough education. I haven't been getting enough help. And like, I want to be in training. I want to get lessons every day. So, I'm actually in 2 weeks, I'm moving to Florida and, it's scary. Like, it's scary to pack everything up. It's scary to move across the country. I love my life here. It would be easier to just stay in California. But Florida is the scene. Like, Florida is where all the shows are. Florida is where the best trainers are. Florida is where I could have that opportunity to become excellent and to improve and to have more opportunity. And so I'm going for it this year. And I'm scared and I'm excited and I'm excited to share that with all of you. So that's my big guaranteed growth goal for this year. And just know that whatever path you choose, I believe in you and I want you to be successful. Remember that if this hasn't worked for you yet, it's not because you're a bad rider or you have a bad horse. I used to think with Geronimo, like, gosh, I'm just a terrible rider. Everyone told me I had this terrible horse, but I just didn't have the right map. I didn't have the right system. And today with Strides, I'm offering you a proven one so that you don't have to keep blaming yourself. And I want to help you. I want to help you to have answers to your questions, to be able to understand the root cause of your problem and so that you don't go down the wrong path with your horse. Strides is your ticket to all of these things, to having joy, connection, communication, partnership, whatever your why is. I want to help you to have that with your horse. So there is the link for you. If you're not in Strides yet, it's amelianewcomb.com/strides. If you're on the fence, feel free to type in the chat, I'm on the fence because, and we'll try to answer your questions. You can also schedule a call with my team if you'd like to talk to someone and just get your answers to your questions or make sure that it's a good fit for you. And then there's also a 15-day money back guarantee. So you can always sign up for Strides. And if you feel like it's not a good fit, then email us and we're happy to give you your money back. Again, I want to thank you all for being here in boot camp. I'm kind of sad that it's over, although I will admit I'm slightly exhausted. I was up way too late last night and at 4:30 this morning. Um, but remember that these 5 days are just the start of a long journey. So we're on a streak. Let's keep the streak alive. Let's do one thing every single day to become a better rider, to become a better horseman, to be a better partner for our horses. Don't forget to do your homework today. Please post in the Facebook group hashtag I love my horse. Or why don't we all share that right now? Like, what is that one thing that makes your horse so special, that makes your horse so unique, that you just love in your horse? Because believe in your horse, smile when you're with your horse. They feel that, they sense that. Let's see, what do I love about my horse? I love Kensington is like super sensitive and shy. And I kind of love that about him because he just needs that like reassurance all the time. I love Mick because Mick is kind of bold and he's a little bit stronger. And so sometimes, he's brave and he's like willing to go and try new things. And they're all different and they're all wonderful. Um, and then we're going to get to some questions, but remember, if you're not in Strides yet, make sure to sign up before the end of the call today so that you can get your 14 ride along podcasts. And that is for if you sign up for Strides annual. If you're already in Strides, make sure that you try one of these ride along podcasts, or you can even listen to it when you're not riding because they are excellent. There was a great one last month on the half halt. And these are the two options for strides. You can either sign up annually for $970, or you can choose the monthly plan, $97. Remember that you have lifetime access for all the months of content that you pay for. So even if you're like, well, I don't know, Amelia, I'm not riding a lot right now. This isn't great timing, go ahead and do it because you can always come back and revisit the content. So if you're not riding, this is actually a great time to dive in and focus on your education and your learning. And that way, when spring comes, you're all ready for it. So I'll have my link, team put that link in the chat for you. It's amelianewcomb-dressage.com/strides. And you also should have it in your email inbox. And that is the end. So I think Lexi is here, and I'm sure she has questions to ask me, and hopefully some winners for today.
Yes, let's do our prize winners first, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so our prize winners for today. So if I call your name, please email us at support@amelianewcomb-dressage.com. I'll add that to the chat so you can see it too, and we will get you your prize. Today's prize winners are Sarah Jimenez, Virginia Rhodes, Ann Waters, Julie Maddock, and Patty Shuley. So I'll say those one more time. Sarah Jimenez, Virginia Rhodes, Ann Waters, Julie Maddock, and Patty Shuley. Email us at support@amelianewcomb-dressage.com and we will get you your prize. Congrats to all of our bootcamp prize winners this week. It's been so fun.
Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Yes, congratulations. All right, I have a couple questions for you, Amelia, about throughness and top line development that we wanted to get answered. So the first one was when we were talking about conformation, and you were showing different ways that horses develop conformationally. We also know that sometimes horses are just like humans, built different, right? So they may have different parts of their conformation that are not quote unquote as ideal or are just different. Is it still possible to ride through even if your horse isn't conformationally perfect? Or how do you know how to train your horse based on their conformation?
Yeah, so definitely every horse has different conformation, and that's something we'll dive into a little more next month in strides. Like I couldn't pack everything into today. So that is one thing we're going to look at next month is okay, getting those conformation shots and then looking at your horse's conformation, how that relates to top line, how that relates to throughness. But remember how I said that like if you think about the definition of throughness, it's that circuit of energy, it's the attitude of willingness. I really believe that every horse can be willing and every horse can develop their top line. And so yeah, it's some horses, in fact all horses have a challenge in some way. There's no such thing as the perfect horse. So it's figuring out what works for your horse, how you can help your horse, how you can make a special recipe for your horse's particular needs. And just like us, we all have different shapes and different sizes of our bodies. We all have a different area of our body that's either crooked or weak or whatever. And you just work with that. You do the best you can. And I will always say that temperament is everything. So I would, any day of the week, I would rather pick a horse that is willing and like kind than a horse with perfect conformation, but a horse that doesn't want to do it for you. And certainly, I think, like I mentioned, that willingness and that try is something that you can build in a horse through consistency and through correct training. You can build willingness, you can build try, but there's also some horses that just have it a little bit more naturally, that willingness and that try. So don't, no horse is perfect, and it's just about figuring out what works best for you and your horse.
Awesome. Yes. And I remember we did the confirmation things in strides a little bit ago, and it was so fun to watch
Yeah.
everyone's different confirmation submissions of their horses and learning how to put those recipes together. So, really looking forward to that. Amelia, you talked a little bit about needing to stretch your horse to help get them developed in the neck. When you talk about stretching, was that done on the ground or while you're riding, or how do you do that?
All of the above. You can do it on the ground, and it's really good to do some stretching and some bending work with your horse on the ground because you're not sitting on their back. So that's a great opportunity for your horse to use their top line a little without you sitting on it. And then definitely under saddle. So when we think about frame, like the frame in the show is your horse's pull is at the highest point and they're round and they're on the vertical, but you always want to feel like you can stretch your horse down. And stretching is really important part of throughness and top line development. Just like for us, you can't just go to the gym and lift weights because you're going to get really, really tight. You also need to do that stretching. And there are some good exercises in strides, both groundwork and stretching exercises that you can do under saddle. So check those out if you're in strides. There's a really good one that Nicole and I did together on stretching.
Awesome. Thank you. Everybody always loves when we talk about groundwork in our lectures, and our stride students have grown to definitely love groundwork because we love that in Amelia's Dressage Academy. So we had one question come through that was asking if we're feeling good about developing suppleness from the ground, or our horse is feeling super supple while we're doing groundwork, but then tension comes back when we start riding. What would be the thing that you would focus on next after you've been successful with groundwork?
Circles, lots and lots of circles. And that is in strides this month, we're doing a circle challenge. So if you notice, in fact, maybe we should just pull up, let me find the strides content and we'll take a quick peek at that. Maybe that would be helpful for people to see a little bit of what strides looks like on the inside. Hang on one second. I've got to find this in all my screens here. I'm pretty glad we had one little glitch with technology this week, but like overall, I think we did pretty well. So, all right, so this is once you sign up for Strides, you'll go to ameliasdressageacademy.com, and this is what Strides looks like on the inside. And you'll see there's the bootcamp access. If you're in Strides, you do have lifetime access, so you can go back and watch these recordings over and over again because I think they were pretty epic. So here we have the January content, and you can see the basic, advanced. Oh, and I also put in this Amelia's training philosophy video, which is really good. So if you click in here to the basic exercises, so every month in Strides, there's a groundwork. So this is a great series of exercises that you can do with like some pulls and some cones to work on gymnasticizing and stretching your horse from the ground. And then we have, so once you do your groundwork and you're like, okay, I need to get my horse more supple, 20-meter circles. They're like, it seems so simple, but set out cones, ride your perfect 20-meter circle, work on really making sure that your horse is bending evenly left and right. Working on that stretch circle, that's also going to really help you. And then in the advanced content, there's a super video here of Carl Hester's perfect 10-meter circles. So I was lucky enough to go to a masterclass with Carl Hester, and oh yeah, I have my unicorn hat on there. Thank you to Stacy who made me a unicorn. So that's a great video. Once you feel like your 20-meter circles are good, then working on 10-meter circles is another way that we can develop even more suppleness and even more bend in our horse, which helps to develop throughness and connection and all that good stuff. So that's kind of what I would recommend as far as riding exercises.
Awesome. On one of our slides where we were talking about goals that we can attain this year, you listed circles. So I just wanted to clarify, we're practicing riding circles in Stride this month, but we also have, Nicole calls them our steady buddy groups, which I think is perfect. We are our support circles in Strides, which is an opportunity for you to connect with a couple other Strides riders to help each other stay accountable or have a little study group together.
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen a few questions come through about stride sessions specifically and the timing of those sessions. So I just wanted to clarify and share we have strides riders from around the world, which is super awesome. And when I'm highlighting some of our stride stories, I do have some riders who are literally from all over the world. So we try to make sure that we have live sessions occurring at a variety of different times so that people who live in different time zones can all try to log in live to join those sessions. But even if you can't join a session live, we record everything in Strides and you have lifetime access to it. So you can watch those recordings whenever best suits your schedule.
Yeah. We do the best we can to accommodate all different time zones. And but I mean you're here today, right?
Yeah.
So we definitely do some times at this time. And then it's also that's why we record everything. Because if you're not able to be there live, then you can also do the recording. And we make it all in podcast too, which I don't know about you, but I love podcasts because that way I can play them while I'm driving or while I'm cleaning my house, which I don't do enough of, or while I'm hand walking my horse. And that's a great thing too. And I know Kristen shared she listens to them in 1.5 speed, which I do too. I listen to them faster because you can kind of absorb more than like you can listen faster than you can talk. So that's another little tip for those of you who are like, I don't have a lot of time.
Yes, definitely. Awesome.
And yes, there is, we are doing a strides orientation session Tuesday night. So make sure to come to that so we can help to get you oriented. And when you sign up for Strides, there is like a pre-recorded orientation. So there's 6 or 7 videos. Go through those videos just to make sure that you understand the program, that you understand all of the benefits to the program. And then if you need help, Lexi and I have an incredible support team that can help you out. So email us support@amelianewcomb and I know technology is hard, but you're here. So if you're here, you've figured out Zoom or YouTube. Strides is really not that much harder than that. It's just, figuring it out. And yeah, it's like anything. If you want to figure it out, it's hard at first, but once you know it, then it's like such a great tool. And we've even helped students in their 80s to send in their videos, and now they send them in like every single month. So the first one's the hardest, but once you've got it down, you've got it down.
Yes, and I'm doing a Strides technology session tutorial in mid-January too. So we have lots of onboarding and technology support coming. Those are all on the January Strides calendar.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to transition in a second, and I'm going to share some stride stories. Amelia's going to get ready for our next recipe session. Amelia, to sign us off before you go, today's hashtag love my horse. What is your hashtag love strides? What do you love most about strides that you can close us out with before we share some stride stories?
Let's see. And maybe Lexi, you could also call out if we've had some people sign up while I share.
Yes.
I think my favorite thing of Strides is so I've been doing Strides. I started it in 2020. So I started it like during COVID. And one of my favorite things is there are members that have been in Strides for 6 years now. So I've gotten to know them and I know their horses and I see them in the video review sessions and I see like their story and their progress. And I honestly look forward to the video review sessions. Like, it doesn't feel like work because it's just such an incredible community of people that really are dedicated to their partnership and to their learning and to their horses and to doing it right and to having that solid foundation. And the community. I think the community always just blows me away. Like, I showed that photo of someone asked the Strides community to send birthday letters to her uncle who was turning 100, and they got like hundreds of letters. I was thinking we should do pen pals for Strides. I think that would be really fun. Oh, and the other thing is we're doing at World Cup. We're going to be at World Cup and we're going to do like a special meet and greet for Strides members. So whenever I meet you in person, I think that's always really fun. So I would definitely say the community is the best part.
I
So.
agree. And yes, we have so many new people who are joining that awesome community who have even signed up while we've been on the call. So welcome to Strides, Laura, Susan, Nancy, Corinne, Mary, Marie, Kat, Jennifer, Kim, and I could keep going, which is super exciting.
All right. Well, welcome all of you. Lexi, I asked Lexi to share some stride stories of our members. So please stay on for that because we do celebrate different members every month. And we also have a strides leaderboard to celebrate your educational progress. So she's going to share some stories of that. And then if you would like to join strides, now's a good time because we're going to be doing our riding recipe workshop starting at 10 a.m. So I'm going to run my dog around the block and make sure I'm all set up. And I'm really looking forward to that because that's going to be about kind of planning out your ride as far as warm up exercises. And Nicole's going to help me out because this fits right in with the shaping plans. So whether or not you join Strides, good luck in the year ahead. I know that we're going to be in touch, and I thank you all for being here and I'm excited. So I'm excited for the year ahead. Thank you so much, Lexi.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, like Amelia said, for a few minutes, we wanted to take an opportunity to share and celebrate about some of our Strides students. So, the community is a really awesome part about Strides. When I first joined Team Amelia and I joined as a student, like all of you all, that was a piece that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I knew that I was going to get awesome content, awesome learning opportunities, but didn't know that I would have exposure to other like-minded equestrians from literally all over the world. So we celebrate our students in a variety of ways, and one way that we do that is by highlighting a member of Strides once a month in a special feature. So we have other students nominate those Strides members, and then we have them share more information about them, their horse, their background, and what they've gained from being a member of Strides. So I'm going to share a few of those so you can join me in recognizing those awesome individuals. So, our first Strides member that I wanted to spotlight is Debbie. Debbie is our wonderful January Strides member of the month. I think I saw Debbie here, which is exciting. So, hi, Debbie. Thank you for being here. We love Debbie for so many reasons. I think her nominator described her as like embodying what it means to be joyful and supportive in Strides. Debbie's also an awesome example because we often get questions about are Amelia's programs for me if I don't own my own horse? And Debbie falls into the category of riding awesome lesson horses. This is Debbie and her sweet lesson horse, Spirit. Here's some things that Debbie says about what she enjoys most in Strides. She says that so many favorite parts of Strides come to mind for her. She loves the ride-alongs to keep going between weekly lessons, office hours, and an opportunity to always learn something. The community is so encouraging. So again, even if you're not able to ride 5, 6 days a week, however many, if you have gaps in time between when you're able to actually ride, many students find that Strides is a really cool way to stay connected, stay engaged, and still feel that like saddle horse connection time, even if you're not riding. Debbie also shared that the ride-alongs helped her to improve during her lessons and improving and feeling more confident with groundwork. So yay for Debbie and yay for Spirit. We love having you in our community. Okay, let's see. The next student and horse that I have to feature was a member of the month a few months ago. This is Kate and her horse Woody. So I know I've seen Kate in a few different boot camp sessions throughout the week. Kate is wonderful and always so encouraging in answering questions from students or sharing her perspective or her enthusiasm. So this is Kate and her lovely gelding Woody. He's a thoroughbred Clydesdale mix and it's just cute as a button. Look at him. Kate and Woody have been riding and competing in eventing, which is super cool. It's been really awesome to see and to hear how Kate has shared how focusing on her dressage or how focusing on some of the things that Amelia teaches has helped Kate be successful and learn and develop, of course, in the dressage phase of eventing, but also in her jumping as well. So here are some things that Kate shared, and she really described this in a wonderful and eloquent way. So I want to read what she shared. So, when we asked Kate, how has Strides helped you achieve your goals or work through your challenges? Kate shared, the video reviews have been game changers to identify where my priorities should lie and help me put together an appropriate lesson plan I can actually execute and be successful with. Being able to watch other people's reviews has also been inspiring and encouraging as well as educational. Seeing the challenges, many that I share, faced by such a variety of horses and riders adds layers and layers of depth to the learning process. It's like vicariously learning from hundreds of horses and riders instead of being just limited by my own experience. I am also so grateful for the genuine camaraderie in the Facebook group. There is a level of support, understanding, encouragement, and shared celebration that allows me to be honest about my struggles without fear of judgment and to celebrate even the smallest of wins with like minded people. So I love that example too. We talk a lot about how video reviews can be transformational for your own writing because it allows you to get personalized one-on-one feedback from a member of Team Amelia. But I think another super cool piece is that you, even if you're not getting your video reviewed, can still attend those sessions. And it's almost like auditing a clinic. So if you've ever attended a clinic that you haven't ridden in, it's super cool to be able to see other horses and riders and the feedback they get from their coach. And that's really what Stride's video reviews are as well. So shout out to Kate and Woody. Okay, my next student that I wanted to highlight, my picture didn't load, but it's Deirdre and Sienna. Deirdre lives in Australia, so I mentioned that we have riders from all over the world, and Deirdre is an awesome example of that. She talks about how Strides has given her a progressive framework to succeed. She shared that Deirdre takes private lessons at least once a month with some very good instructors. But what she found is that she would go into a lesson and then forget everything. So I know that sometimes I can relate to that too. Why do I always ride so well in a lesson, but then when I'm on my own, it's so much harder? Sometimes it's hard to keep that learning in between lessons. She said that each lesson was like starting over again with no continuity or consistency. She shares that Strides has given her such a great progressive framework and that she's seen dramatic improvements in joining Strides both with her horse and with her riding. Deidre also shared some comments that I think that many of us can relate to about her own experiences. So when we asked her, what is something unique about you, your journey, or your horse? She said, I have bad osteoarthritis and have had 2 hip replacements. I gave up riding at 15 and had a brief, disastrous foray back in my 30s and decided it was now or never in my 50s. I've had some major setbacks, including severe anxiety after a fall, which meant I couldn't go faster than a trot for 12 months. I've also had competition anxiety where I stopped competing, but there's just something about horses that I can't let go, so here I am. I think that's such an inspiring story and is connected to what Amelia was sharing earlier about we'll all experience setbacks. Something that's been so inspiring for me in Strides is to see our riders from around the world who come from a variety of different backgrounds or are different ages. And it's so cool to see that horses can be a part of your life in so many different phases. And that because we all share that common why, it really brings us together in this community of like-minded people. Okay. Oh, there's my picture of Deirdre. So my last one that I had to feature is Jody and Wesley. So this is Jody. I know that I don't know if she's here today. Say hi if you're in the chat, Jody, but I've seen her on other boot camp calls. Jody, and she calls Wesley Wild Wesley, which I think is so fun. Wesley is a newer horse to her. When we featured her, Jody shared Wild Wesley is a 9-year-old Hanoverian. I found him on Facebook living in a field and being a lawn ornament. I couldn't afford a horse that already knew dressage, so I took a chance on Wesley. When I got him, he actually didn't steer or stop very well. I've had him for almost 5 months and he's come such a long way. I'm so proud of him. We competed in our first horse show in October and he did pretty well. So Jody, I think, first joined us in the rider position blueprint and has since stayed on at Strides. So it's been so incredible to see all that she's working on with Wesley and developing their partnership. She also shared that Strides has helped her because she had absolutely no idea how to ride a dressage test, but the lessons in Amelia's programs and in Strides break it down step by step and show exactly what to do. She says the video reviews are helpful and everyone is so kind. The Facebook group is a constant source of encouragement. We love our wonderful Strides students. And like I said, we highlight our Strides members once a month and do sort of a write-up or a blog post story about them. But we know that equestrians and maybe dressage riders in particular love to find ways to compete or to earn points or to find ways to be better. So we also added what we call our progress paddock, which is every month in Strides, we have a leaderboard where you can earn points by interacting and learning in the content. So by completing a lesson, by working through those different things, you can add points and they accumulate on our leaderboard. So at the end of each month, it resets, but we have an opportunity to highlight the top 3 people from our progress paddock. So here's our December progress paddock winners. We had Jane, Michelle, and Elizabeth. Jane was our #1 progress paddock winner this month. She's also taken home the top progress paddock prize before. So shout out to Jane and all the work that she puts in completing her lessons. Jane is an example. Amelia talked about how we have riders from a variety of different disciplines. Jane rides in a Western saddle and she rides Western dressage. I saw that she shared recently one of her goals for the year is to submit to do a ride test in Stride. So we're excited to have her do that and to watch her succeed in Western dressage. Let's see, Michelle was our second place Strides Progress Paddock winner. So her horse there in the middle, that's Stewie. Michelle earlier in the year had to do some rehab with Mr. Stewie, so he was getting well and getting better. So again, Michelle's an awesome example of sometimes things don't always go perfect, or you might have some out of saddle time. So it's always so great to see the ways that Michelle was able to take what she was learning in Strides and apply it to whatever phase she was in working through Stewie's rehab. So maybe that was just tuning into the lecture and continuing her own learning, or working on the rider fitness exercises, or applying some of the exercises just at a walk when that's what Stewie was able to do. But shout out to Michelle for working hard all through Stewie's rehab, and now they are back at it. Michelle's a frequent office hour submitter, and I just saw that she posted in the Facebook group her circle goal was to work on 20-meter circles with Stewie and then later be able to focus on riding more accurate 15-meter circles. And then our third place progress paddock winner for the month was Elizabeth and her horse Sibby. They started competing in eventing together over the summer, which is super exciting. They went to their first horse trials. So shout out to Elizabeth and Sibby. I saw that this week they've been sharing that one of their goals is to start riding a shoulder in, and they were working on developing a shaping plan for riding shoulder in, or teaching that exercise specifically after attending Nicole's shaping plan session. So shout out to Elizabeth. We're excited to watch you continue to develop shoulder in an office hour session in Strides soon. So those are some of our awesome riders in stories that we wanted to take a moment to highlight. You can find other Strides features if you liked learning about those members or want to read the full stories. We also post those on the blog, so you can find that on Amelia's website on our blog.
Great.
All
Thank you so
right.
much, Lexi. I think we're going to take a bit of a break right now, right?
Perfect.
So,
Yes.
if you are new and you've just joined Strides and you're like, how do I get onto this call that's starting in half an hour? Go to Amelia's website, amelianewcomb.com. You can always just Google it. And on the top right, there's a little login button. And if you haven't gotten your email yet, because sometimes it goes to spam and or trash, if you go there and click login, you can just do the password reset directly from there if you can't find the email. Or, like always, you can email us at support@amelianewcomb.com. I know Lexi and I are going to be in there for the next little while helping you guys out and get sorted. So I think that's it, Lexi, right? Anything else?
That's it.
All right,
All right.
fantastic. We will see everyone in a bit. Bye now.
Bye.